What is up, YouTube? Welcome to Too Sweet TV. This is the first episode, and what an episode it's going to be. This is what I'm going to be calling This Week in WWE. This is going to be a weekly, episodic type thing where we're going to be reviewing both Raw and SmackDown and the finer points and the big focal points to take away from both shows. Starting with Monday Night Raw, we're going to be talking about obviously the biggest moment in Raw in the past few weeks. Maybe the past month, maybe the past year. Gilbert debuted, oh my god. In all seriousness, we did have a pretty big moment with Kevin Owens turning on Chris Jericho and what this means going forward. We had the Festival of Friendship. Jericho's trying to make up for putting Kevin Owens in a Universal title match against Goldberg by showering him with all of these gifts and this Festival of Friendship and all this nice stuff. Kevin Owens in turn actually gets him a present of his own. He opens up the box, it's the list of KO, and the only name on the list is Chris Jericho. It's perfect. I couldn't have asked for a better way to start this feud, really. It's really cool. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. We all knew it was going to happen eventually. We all know where it's leading. WrestleMania, Chris Jericho versus Kevin Owens. Whether it'll be for the Universal title or not, we're not sure. And the last time we actually see Chris Jericho on this Monday Night Raw is he's being put into an ambulance. So that leaves a lot for the mind to kind of think about for Kevin Owens versus Goldberg at Fastlane. The next big moment is Bayley winning the Women's Championship. Oh my god, this is awesome. It really is awesome. There's no other way to put it. I've been a Bayley fan for a while. I think we all have. Of all four women, it's been amazing to see what this women's revolution has done for the business. And anytime Charlotte and Bayley, or Charlotte and Sasha, or Bayley and Sasha, it doesn't matter. Anytime those women are in the ring, you know you're going to get a treat. You know you're going to have a special match. And this was a pretty decent match, and with Bayley winning the Women's Championship, like, for the very first time, such an awesome moment. And for Sasha to be there and to help her win and to just be in the ring and share that moment and have it, you know, it's awesome. There's no other way to put it. It's an amazing moment, and where it kind of goes from here is interesting because you're going to have Charlotte with a rematch clause, obviously. But the reports are actually saying that Sasha Banks should be turning heel soon. Whether or not it'll be at Fastlane, maybe you have, like, I don't know what the possibilities could be, but maybe it's at Fastlane, maybe it's a little bit closer to Mania. I don't know, but it is intriguing, and it keeps your mind kind of thinking about all the little possibilities that could happen with the Women's Championship on Monday Night Raw. The next big thing I want to talk about from Raw is Samoa Joe and what his role is really going to be on Monday Night Raw. We know he is a badass. We know how destructive he can be from his time in NXT, and for those of us who watched him before he was in NXT, when he was in TNA, when he was in Ring of Honor, PWG even, like, we know what he brings to the table. The thing is, storyline wise, where does this all match up? Because once again, reports are saying that he's going to be facing Sami Zayn at Fastlane. But there's still, like, I feel like some unfinished business with him and Roman Reigns. Is that what's going to happen at WrestleMania if Seth Rollins is able to go? Because if that's the case, it still could be pretty cool. And at least we won't have Roman Reigns in a main event kind of scenario. And possibly, I mean, Joe beating up on Roman Reigns isn't a bad idea either. But it's just the, what is Samoa Joe's role leading into WrestleMania that's really got a lot of people, I think, kind of thinking. And please feel free to leave comments and things and talk about what you think is going to be the huge storylines leading into WrestleMania from the Raw roster and the Raw side of things. Finally, on this episode of This Week in WWE, we're going to be talking about SmackDown Live and the era of Wyatt. The era of Wyatt's upon us. Bray Wyatt's the WWE champion after Elimination Chamber, which was bonkers. It was awesome. Start off SmackDown Live with Bray Wyatt coming out, cutting a really cool promo as WWE champion, and then John Cena interrupts, tries to bury him on the mic. AJ Styles interrupts him, and lo and behold, we have a triple threat match for the WWE Championship between Bray Wyatt, John Cena, and AJ Styles. But before we get to that, we've also got a lot going on in the women's division once again. On this side, it's a little bit different. We had a rematch from Elimination Chamber between Becky Lynch and Mickie James, which was pretty good. Mickie James coming out victorious. Once again, there's just so many little things going on. We've got Mickie James and Becky Lynch. We've got Alexa Bliss and Naomi, which we'll get to in a little bit. But we've also got Nikki and Natalya. Now, this is probably the most feisty and sense of realism is off the charts with this one. Nikki and Natalya's story is really cool, and it's entertaining. And this week they just all out brawled right in front of Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan splits it and security split it up. And Daniel Bryan makes the announcement that next week on SmackDown Live we're gonna have Nikki Bella versus Natalya in a Falls Count Anywhere match, which will be pretty awesome. Back to what we were talking about with Naomi and Alexa Bliss, though, we've also got the possibility of next week also having a women's championship match. Naomi came out and had a brace on her knee, and Alexa Bliss came out and basically said, if you cannot defend your title next week, it's mine. So we're probably going to get that women's championship match as well. So that's two really cool women's matches on SmackDown Live. Another humongous takeaway from SmackDown Live this week is the Intercontinental Champion Dean Ambrose. Kind of starts off the night with him trying to look for Baron Corbin because he wants to even the score with Baron Corbin after Elimination Chamber. So he's looking around, finds James Ellsworth. They're scheduled to have a match after a little altercation, verbal altercation, with James Ellsworth and Carmella. Dean Ambrose comes out, his music hits, but he's not there, and then all of a sudden Baron Corbin's dragging him out, puts him through a table. So where is this kind of leading, and are we going to have an actual one-on-one at Mania for the Intercontinental title between Baron Corbin and Dean Ambrose? Or are we going to have another ladder match possibly? Because there's a lot of really combustible elements there as far as the Intercontinental Championship is concerned. We did not have The Miz on SmackDown Live this week, which was pretty interesting to say the least, because right now I feel like he's one of the top heels in WWE right now. So where he kind of fits in the grand scheme of things as far as the Intercontinental Championship is yet to be kind of seen. But nonetheless, next week on SmackDown Live we should get some kind of clarification as to where The Miz is as far as Intercontinental title goes, and then Dean Ambrose and Baron Corbin, a little more of that kind of story. So definitely worth watching as far as that's concerned. And finally, this week on SmackDown Live we had the main event, which was an awesome triple threat WWE Championship match between Bray Wyatt, John Cena, and AJ Styles. Now, Bray Wyatt comes out to the ring. He's the last to come out to the ring as WWE Champion. And then he gets attacked by Luke Harper, who is fresh off a loss to Randy Orton in Elimination Chamber, but he comes out and obliterates Bray Wyatt, and then he kind of leaves. Then we get our awesome WWE Championship match, but once again, I mean, anytime you have AJ Styles and John Cena in a match together, you're bound to have a really good match. You throw in Bray Wyatt, it becomes really amazing. And for what it was, I really think it was an amazing match. Basically, the finish: John Cena AA's AJ Styles turns around into Sister Abigail. 1, 2, 3. Bray Wyatt wins, pinning John Cena clean a second time in 3 days. And pinning AJ Styles at Elimination Chamber. So they're obviously pushing Bray Wyatt to the moon here. Now, the big thing to talk about this week is after winning the match, Randy Orton comes out and pledges his allegiance to Bray Wyatt by saying that as long as Wyatt is the WWE Champion, he will not challenge him at WrestleMania. He's not going to use the Royal Rumble clause to face Bray Wyatt for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania, which is kind of interesting because after the Luke Harper and altercation before the match, I feel like everyone thought that it was going to be either Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton or Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton versus Luke Harper. So how does this all fit in the grand scheme of things? I guess we're just going to have to kind of stay tuned and keep watching and see what happens, but it's definitely weird to say the least, isn't it? Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and as always, subscribe for more videos in the future. This is Spencer from Too Sweet TV, signing off, and I will see you guys in the next video.